right. Well, good evening and welcome to Wrestler's Court. I am Judge Arrow, and I'm here to preside over the case of PWO versus Dudley Magnum. With us here today, we've got our defense attorney, J.C. Hicks, the
Yes, sir.
prosecutioner, Ted, and our bailiff, the esteemed E.K. Plays.
Hello.
So this should be a good Wrestler's Court. It should be a very interesting one, I'm sure. But I say let's get started. Let's open up the floor. So the charges that I'm seeing here are the offense on Mr. Dudley or from Mr. Dudley is calling someone a F slur that is spelled out FAG with the GOT at the end in a PSN party. So we've got his punishment is currently that he has been banned, and he is seeking for this court case to be reinstated into the PWO. So, I will allow the prosecutioner to begin.
Thank you, Judge Aram. And Judge Aram, I just want to start this off by saying that hair, fantastic. Looks
Thank
amazing.
Objection! Judge, objection. Dick riding.
I'm gonna say sustained. I'm gonna say sustained.
Thank you. I just don't want to set a precedent of glazing throughout the court, throughout the trial. Just don't want there to be a precedent.
Anyways, Judge, if I can continue. Ladies and gentlemen, viewers in stream, Judge Arrow, I'd like to take this time to tell you about a monster. About someone who came into a community of people looking for a safe space and knew that, Judge Arrow, knew that this was a community of people looking to escape what is habitually known to be a place that dwells chronically online, disgusting, bad behavior, bigots, racist, sexist, all the above. People came to the PWO to escape all of that. And the defendant today, Dudley Magnum, brought all of those things that they were looking to get away from back into this community and shoved it right in their face, Judge Arrow. Today, I am here to point out what is not only an awful offense from the defendant that I believe is inexcusable at his grown-ass age, but also a pattern of what I believe to be bad behavior. Now, if we combine a pattern with bad behavior, Judge Arrow, I think that makes a bad person, and I am here to prove that tonight in Wrestler's Court.
All right. Well, I will allow the defense attorney to take his stance.
Yes. Your Honor, beautiful people of the court, PWO, Benjamin Franklin once said, "Search others for their virtues, thyself for thy vices." Let me say that again. Search others for their virtues, thyself for thy vices. You have to look within yourself to see the problems that you present to the others who are around you. And ladies and gentlemen, that is to say, all of us have vices that we are currently working through in this rat race that we call life. Who among us hasn't made a mistake? Who among us hasn't lost their temper? Who among us hasn't done something that they look back on one day and soon regret? Your Honor, my client, he is working on himself in more ways than one. He is doing the work to become the person that he has always seen himself to be. And in that journey, there will be pitfalls. There will be times when he is not, let's say, the perfect citizen. But not one of us has been perfect since Jesus Christ himself. Your Honor, today I will prove that not only has my client made a mistake, but he was pushed to make that mistake by a person who isn't trying to work on themselves, by a person who only wants violence always, a person that isn't even getting his day in court, because we all agree that they are a piece of shit. Dudley Magnum has come in here and he has been a net positive for the PWO, and I believe personally, and I think you will too by the end of this, that he is a good person and deserving of a chance.
Okay. Thank you both you gentlemen. Well spoken from both. So I see that our prosecutioner has a few thoughts. Would you like to call anyone to the stand at this time to speak on the case?
Judge Arrow, I absolutely would love the opportunity to call somebody to the stand, but in being a fair prosecutioner and a fair practitioner here in the PWO, I would hate to put anybody in this community on the stand to testify against this bastard, because I would hate for him to retaliate against any of them. He's already known to have bad behavior. He's known to bully people that he doesn't agree with. I would hate to put anybody.
Objection! Your Honor, the prosecution has called my client a bastard. What kind of courtroom? What kind of kangaroo court is this? He has done nothing of the sort. He has no evidence that my client has done anything other than what we are here to discuss right now. My client is no bully. He is just throwing. This is defamation, Your Honor.
Well, it's perfect you say that, state prosecutioner or state defendant, because Judge Arrow, if I could, I would love to replace what I would have the opportunity in having somebody come to the stand with evidence that I've prepared against this man. Now, if I need to wait to do that after the defendant would like to call his people to the stand, I'm fine with doing that. I'd like to keep this judge or this courtroom as fair of a place as possible.
So I will say, I will sustain the objection in terms of name calling. We will not allow any name calling from your end, prosecutioner. We will not use any vulgar language like that, especially while we are on trial for using similar language.
Thank you, Your Honor. Tell that piece of shit to calm down, you motherfucker.
Mr. Defendant, I also would like to remind you that we will try to work both ways, because if
I
you're defending a man that for using vulgar language, I ask that you also honor yourself, sir.
I apologize. To be clear, this isn't for vulgar language. This is for slurs.
Absolutely, but it all starts somewhere, and let's not make a mockery of the courtroom.
Okay.
I will actually also have Mr. Defendant, if you have any witnesses you would like to bring up first, before any evidence is provided from the prosecution.
Yes, Your Honor. I think it'd be a good idea for us to sort of lay the scene out, sort of put out, unless the prosecution is going to do this through his evidence, to put out what exactly happened from beginning to end. And in that vein, I do have a few eyewitnesses who were there from the beginning to the end to figure out exactly what had happened. So if I could call my witness, unless the prosecution wants to do evidence that lays out the situation first before we get anyone in here, it's all up to, I guess the ball is in their court with this.
Prosecution?
I'm fine with him letting his witnesses come up first. That's fine.
Okay. So call your first witness.
All right. I would like to begin my witness testimony by calling one. I don't know who. I've never met this person ever. I don't know who this is, but if we could get a one, Kyle King. Kyle. Who is Kyle? Who is Kyle King? Well, either way, can we get a Kyle King to come to the stand, whoever this is? I don't know. I know it's a big risk, but I'm not exactly sure who this is. But yes, is this Mr. Kyle King? Excellent. Excellent. Well, I guess Patience is supposed to be doing that. He's the bailiff.
Is that what the bailiff does?
That is what the bailiff does. Have you ever watched Judge Judy?
Kyle King, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Right. Okay.
Mr. King, can you state your name for the record and for the fact that I have no idea who you are. I've never seen you in my life ever.
I am Kyle King.
And who the fuck are you?
I am a member of the PWO community for quite a while now.
And for the record, you were there not only during the incident in question, but you were there for a few inciting incidents beforehand. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay, I'd like to take this from the beginning, moving on to the inciting incident, sort of paint a picture here. Tell us about the first time you saw any static between my client Dudley Magnum, and the person in question. Tee up next.
Indeed, it was rather very early morning. Us PWO members do enjoy our early morning lab sessions. And when it came to Shallow Sinister, commonly known as Dudley Magnum, he and Tee up next, who was in the PWO known as AJ Johnson, they began bickering back and forth on what was actually an NBA debate. Both men believed that Luka was a point guard, Luka was a small forward, and it began with a lot of name calling, back and forth arguing, which ended up with Shallow Sinister, as said before, Dudley Magnum, kicking out T Up Next from the party to end the tension.
Okay, let me stop you right there. This is before the incident that happened that brought us here, before the slur was called, correct?
Absolutely.
And because due to this, I'd like to ask, what was the nature of the name calling happening in that first incident, Talking?
Well, as stated before, it did start with NBA conversation. Uh, it was very back and forth. Both men were just calmly telling each other to shut up and they don't know ball. They don't know what they're referring to. And as it kept going on back and forth, a few of us telling them to take it easy, Dudley Magnum did decide to just kick T Up Next from the party to keep everything calm and collected.
So I'd like to, Judge, I'd like to point out for the record that in order to diffuse the situation, my client removed the inciting person out of the party at first. Okay? I just want that to be made clear. Continue.
Yeah, so as he was removed, T Up Next would instantaneously go to the DMs of one Commissioner EK. These DMs can actually be seen on the TikTok of Ted the Toy Collector, where it was very evidently seen that he began complaining, and one Commissioner EK did state Dudley cannot be removed for something with no evidence.
Correct.
Thus,
Correct.
thus forcing T Up Next to come back, rather, I believe, a week later.
This is
And-
a full week later.
Yes, a week later, to go on and provoke Dudley after they had a one-on-one match in yet another lab session where T Up Next did win, and gloating about it to Dudley, where Dudley did say he was just playing to have fun.
Can I ask you what that provocation was?
Well, I mean, it just came down to he was just saying, "I'm better than you, Dudley. I should be the leader of COC. You suck. You're not good at this at all. Take your L and go away." Thus causing, to the point that we are now, where T Up Next did state that he didn't care if he, as in T Up Next, got kicked, as long as Dudley Magnum was no longer a part of this league.
Got it. Got it. Got it. So Dudley Magnum was provoked because of regular in-game shit talk, or would you say this was a little bit more advanced? Describe the language that T Up Next used after the victory in WWE 2K that day.
After the victory, T Up Next would go on to say that he was better. And that Dudley was stupid. That Dudley is not capable of leading his own faction, known as the Cavalry of Change (COC).
The Cock Boys,
And
Your Honor.
yes, the Cock Boys. T Up Next would actually go on to just belittle Dudley Magnum to the best of his ability, while also pressing the button on his controller that allows him to record all that goes on in the PlayStation parties.
Understood. Understood. So you believe it is of your belief that the provocation was in order to get Dudley Magnum to say something to him that he could take back to EK.
Absolutely, because it was EK who stated, with no evidence, there can be no punishment. So with that being said, he knew he had to come back and force Dudley to say something. And after Dudley was removed, it was T Up Next who did state, and I quote, "I do not care if I get kicked as long as Dudley Magnum is no longer in this league."
Understood. Understood. And for my final question before I end my line of questioning here, as the language got more heated before Dudley said the word that we are all here for, how was the language on T Up Next's side? because the language started to get more elevated. Things started happening. More people started saying more and more dicey. There was a lot more dicey language before Dudley Magnum said the word that we are all here to, sort of litigate over. Did T Up Next say anything that tripped your alarms off and made you think, "Oh wow, that's over the line," before Dudley Magnum said anything to him?
Actually, yes, it was T.F. Next who, while provoking Dudley to the best of his ability, going on to tell Dudley Magnum to simply, in a calm day, just shut the fuck up. You're absolutely shit at this, and doing that repetitively in order to get said word to come out of Dudley Magnum. And after said word was stated, uh, I cannot confirm nor deny whether it was directed towards Dudley Magnum, but TF Next would also go on to say that word that we are here in question for.
Let the record show, Your Honor, that not only did my client use this forbidden word, it was used in an attempt to provoke it out of him for a video that was later, unfortunately, failed to be sent to EK.
Objection, objection, Your Honor. That's not what the witness said. The witness said, and I'm sure the defendant's lawyer knows this, the defendant said that the person on trial right now, Dudley Magnum, used the word first, and then the person who's not here to defend themselves repeated it back to him.
I have no further questions, Your Honor. I think that can be worked out with the prosecutor's line of questioning.
I will say, Mr. Prosecutor, if you wish to question the witness currently on the stand now would be your time to do so.
Thank you, Your Honor. Kyle King, you said your name is, correct?
Yes.
Kyle King, are you aware that if you get caught lying on stand, perjury is an immediate ban from the PWO? Do you get that?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you promise that everything that comes out of your mouth moving forward is going to be the God's honest truth?
It has and will continue.
Okay. Then I'll begin my questioning, Your Honor.
Okay.
Mr. Kyle King, do you hate gay people?
No.
Okay. So a follow-up question to that, Mr. Kyle King. What could someone say to you to provoke you into calling them the F slur?
Well, me personally, that's just not a word in my vocabulary. I just wouldn't use such a, I guess I could say such a vulgar word.
Yeah. And why not, Kyle King?
Well, I think it just stems down to the way I was raised and knowing that that's just not a word that can be used at any point in time. I do understand the words that are being said. I just don't believe that word should be used at all.
Interesting. Now, Kyle King, you said earlier that you were a member of the PWO, right?
Absolutely.
Now, as a member of the PWO, you had to go and look through all of the rules to understand how to be a member of this league, correct?
Correct.
Now, Kyle King, please tell me, if you remember whenever you read those rules, what does it say happens if you call someone a slur in this league?
It does state that you will be banned.
All right. I'm glad you also have that understanding of the PWO rules, Kyle King. Now, Kyle King, you also mentioned that he who is not here to defend himself, Jaden Knight, I believe his name is.
Different guy.
AJ Johnson.
AJ Johnson. AJ Johnson said that he doesn't care if he gets banned or removed from the league as long as Dudley Magnum is not here. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, Kyle King, did Dudley Magnum not state something similar after calling AJ Johnson a slur? Did he not say that he doesn't care if he gets removed from this league for calling him a slur? And mind you, before you answer, you will be kicked out of this league for perjury.
Dudley did state that.
So you're telling me, Kyle King, that not only did Dudley Magnum break the rules, a rule that he's known existed in the PWO for as long as the PWO has existed, a rule that he's seen other people be called out for, but he doubled down on it after calling this person a slur and said that he didn't care if he got removed from the league that he is trying to be reinstated in after doing so. I just want to make sure I have you correct.
That is correct.
Relevance, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I think that's about as relevant as it gets.
I'm gonna say sustained.
Cal King,
Yes.
Cal King,
Yes.
I'll take you in a different line of questioning, okay?
All right.
Do you like the PWO in the community that we're trying to build?
Absolutely. I believe it's a great community.
If someone
Great
came
lot
into
of
this,
friendships.
if someone came into this community tomorrow and called you an F slur, how would that make you feel? And do you think that we should keep them around?
I would feel disrespected. To keep them around, do I think that's something that should be, dropped as the way Dudley did? No. But do I believe that he was evidently provoked? Absolutely. Was the word justified? Not at all.
Now, you mentioned earlier that there's nothing that anybody could say to you to provoke you into saying that word. Why are you making an excuse for Dudley Magnum? What makes it okay and admissible for him to be provoked into doing so?
Well, I did state that was my reasoning. Uh, I I'm not sure how one Dudley Magnum was raised into knowing what to say and what not to say.
Does it matter?
No.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'd like to question the witness. Just one last question for the witness before he gets out of here.
You may.
Kyle King, let's clear one thing up before you get off the stand. The order of events. You said that T Up Next also used this slur that provoked Dudley Magnum. I need a confirmation. T Up Next used the slur and then Dudley Magnum used it later during a crash out, or did it get used in the midst of Dudley's crash out after Dudley used the slur?
This was Dudley using said slur originally, and then it was T Up Next who went on to use it after the said word was spoken.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Now, I actually have a clarifying question that I would like to ask the prosecution. In the rules and regulations of the PWO, it is stated, as you said, that any use of slurs of, similar and the one that we heard today would be automatic banning from the PWO, correct?
That is correct.
Where did this event take place once again?
This took place in a PSN party, Your Honor.
Okay, and is that affiliated with the PWO itself?
It is not affiliated with the PWO itself. However, Your Honor, I would like to clarify that because of situations like this, we have further clarified in talking to the members of the PWO that any actions that they do in PSN parties will also have consequences, just as it would in the Discord, Your Honor. I would like to clarify.
And when was that clarification?
One of the many times that we've gone off on them.
Previous to this offense?
Previous to this offense, yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Are you both done questioning the witness?
I am.
Your Honor.
Okay. So the witness may leave the stand.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay. Prosecutor, would you like to present any evidence now, or can we move on to the next witness?
I will hold off on my evidence for now, Your Honor, and we can roll into the next witness.
Okay.
Your Honor, the defense would like to call one Spider to the stand.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Spider, can you state your name for the record?
Spider Myers.
Spider Myers. Now, were you here for the entire, evolution of this incident, or just the day in question?
I was there from start to finish.
So, from your perspective, how do you see this situation building out, or how did you see this situation building out up until the inciting incident?
I was just trying to stop it before it went further than what it should have been.
A victim.
What happened from your perspective?
So when I get to the labs, right, I'm there with my boy Dudley. He actually has started the whole session for the labs that morning. It was his party, and pretty much we were going about our labs, and they started pouring in like one by one. Party started getting filled up. You know what I mean? So from then on, there was a bit of an argument going on, and we had advised Dudley multiple occasions or multiple times to just kick the person out. You know what I mean? Like, let's not try to get and go that far. You know, and
Let me stop you right
it's
there, Spider.
up to me.
Did Dudley end up kicking the
Oh yeah,
person
oh
at
yeah,
any
oh yeah.
point?
He kicked him out every time. Every time from the first time to every time he came back into the party, he kicked him out on
By your
every
est-
occasion.
by your estimation, how many times did Dudley kick this person, and
Solid.
how many times did they add themselves back in?
So he got kicked about 3, 4 times. He came back about 4 or 5 times.
And in your opinion, would you consider this sort of getting kicked, entering back, getting kicked, entering back, and the provocation that came with that? Would you consider this harassment?
Yeah, yeah. Because if for example, if I was needing to kick somebody out, is because I feel the need that I don't want to say anything positive towards that person, so I want them away from my presence. And if in retrospect I get kicked, I gotta understand. Well, hold on, what am I doing? Cause we all in here together, man. You know what I mean? So for him to come back each and every time and wanna move it up some more, and then come back a last time and state that you ain't even mad about stuff. You just trying to get people to boo. I mean, that don't sit right, and that's a bit of harassment.
Let the record show that the witness has said they believe between 3 and 5 times this kicking and joining back in happened. Dudley Magnum attempting to get himself away from the problems that were soon to come. So harassment was in this whole ordeal before we reached the incident. Continue with the story.
And and that final time, you know that it was stated that they wasn't even mad, that they just got ill intent in them. You know, that they just wanted to see somebody go. Somebody that when I joined was probably the first or not second person to hit me up and be like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? And not only that, but fast forward, I've been in 2 factions with this man, and one of them was to start changing the locker room on behaviors.
Mm.
So so for him, it kind of feels like it's the opposite of what that guy stands for. Because he wanted to be the change of voice in our locker room for how we treated certain rookies when we came in. And we've gotten better since.
Let me ask you real quick for the record, what does the COC stand for?
It is the Cavalry of Change, man. I'm a former member, first of the top 4 that were in there to start it off. And that's why I changed, because I said, man, that's a great idea to bring in rookies and make them feel welcome and make some of the veterans change their perspective on newcomers coming in, because we can grow and expand, build this community, this family we got going on. You know what I mean? And I'd say he was probably one of the ones to lead the charge in that.
Spider, describe to me in great detail what exactly happened that led to Dudley Magnum committing the crime that we're here for today.
I feel like it was built up emotion of him trying to stay peaceful and calm and trying to be a bigger person. And sometimes as a human we got emotions, and if we outburst, we react a certain way, but we can always reflect back on it and see our actions and change them for the better.
Your Honor, I would like to state for the record a quote by one Mariah Carey. You've got me feeling emotions deeper than I ever have done. Continue, Mr. Spider.
And yeah, I mean, I think with that being said, you know, his what he felt inside a little bit, you know, was a little bit getting rattled up in him. He had an outburst. He had an outburst, you know, and it's unfortunate, but he wasn't trying to be rude or trying to be like mal about it. You know, he it was just in the moment. I mean, he was just constantly getting bickered at, and he was trying to get him away.
Can you describe the bickering? Tell me exactly what you heard T Up Next say in the party.
He was calling him the he was calling him a bitch. He was just very demoralizing him a lot, man. Like it's for me to repeat words that were just uttered. It just makes me feel terrible.
For the record, we do need you to repeat the words as long as they're not slurs. If there are slurs, you do know how to censor yourself, obviously. But for the record, we do need to know what T Up Next was saying.
He was calling him a bitch. He was calling him a fucker. He was just going at it with all types of like.
Objection,
I mean,
objection, objection, Your Honor, objection. Semantics.
Your Honor, it's important for me to set the scene for what happened in this PlayStation party. Just having people come up and say they were arguing isn't going to do enough to paint the picture, the scene of what you need to see.
Calling him stupid.
I will overrule the
Hold
objection.
on.
I will overrule the objection.
I'm fucking killing it. Keep going.
He was calling him stupid in there. He was just, throwing N-words.
Was he really?
Mm-hmm.
Let the record show AJ Johnson is black.
Oh, okay.
Last name's Johnson. You knew that, you bastard.
There are white Johnson.
I got a white Johnson on me right now.
You set him up for that. You did that.
Order in the damn court?
Continue, Spider.
And then he just kept on kicking him out. He would come back in and say, yo, I'm going to just keep at it. And then on that final occasion, when he finally came back in, he said, you know what, now I'm going to get you because I'm going to clip it, and I ain't even mad about this. I just want you to get kicked out of the league.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Prosecutor, do you wish to examine the witness?
Absolutely, Your Honor.
Okay.
Spider Myers, you said your name was, is that correct?
Absolutely.
Do you hate black people, Spider Myers?
Objection! Objection, Your Honor!
Why would you dare try to bring that in?
Objection!
Objection!
What does that have to do with this, Your Honor?
If he let me talk, Your Honor, he would see.
I am struggling to also see the correlation, but I will allow you some leeway, but I will be prepared to stop you if I do not see where this is going. So you may continue cautiously.
Thank you, Your Thank you, Your Honor. Spider Myers, the reason I ask is because you're Hispanic, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever said the N-word?
I have, but we are streaming and stuff like that, so I do want to be careful.
So you have said the N-word.
I have.
Is that a word that you actively use today, Spider Myers?
Not in today's society, no.
How long has it been since you said that word, Spider Myers?
3 days.
What the fuck?
Objection, Your Honor! My witness is not the one that's on trial here. Objection! My witness is not the one.
I'm going to sustain this objection, and I will allow you to move on to a different question, or you will not be allowed to speak to this witness.
My witness is not on trial.
You did say that word in the Discord yesterday.
I didn't think that line of questioning was going to go that way. Spider Myers, you should stop saying the N-word. Anyway, God damn it. Where was I going with this?
He wasn't going anywhere, Your Honor.
Well, Your Honor, all of my points rested on the fact that the witness didn't think it was okay to say slurs, but he does.
So, are you done questioning this witness?
Yes.
Okay. Defense attorney, do you have any more questions for the witness? Okay,
No.
I will let this witness get off the stand and leave.
These the people you bringing up here? Jesus Christ.
God damn it. Spider Myers.
Hashtag free Dudley, man.
Oh, God.
Get out. Okay. So, that outburst at the end right there, we will not let slide here. Okay?
I understand, Your
Now,
Honor.
defense attorney, I strongly advise you that if you have any more witnesses, you know what's gonna happen in this room when they come in and things like that happen again. So do you have any more witnesses you want to bring up to the stand?
I assure you, Your Honor, that I thought that I knew what was going to happen, but every now and then some of these witnesses go off the deep end, and that's okay because he established the facts that I needed established. I think the stage has been set, and everybody knows exactly what happened. I'd like to start calling witnesses that could speak to the character of my. Well, actually, you know what? Before I go to character witnesses, I think now is actually a good time. Now that we've had two people come and to talk about what happened, to sort of get the perspective from my client. So I would like to call Dudley Magnum to the stand.
Okay.
See, at this time in the party, I was not Dudley Magnum.
Excuse me. I will actually have our bailiff swear you in entirely first before you
Oh yeah, my bad.
give your statement. So bailiff.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
There we go.
So, in a party, you know,
Wait, Dudley. Just hold on. Give me a second. Let's start this from the beginning, okay? Now, you were going to say something about who you were in the party versus who you were in the PWO. I will let you get that off real quick, so go ahead.
you know, in the party, me as a person, my name is Kyle. You know, I'm a pretty friendly person all around. If you ask me for help with anything, I'll try to do that. I like to look at myself as a pretty genuine guy, but I try to be as humble as possible with that. The thing is, I try not to be my character, Dudley, right? You know, COC in its old, it's kind of a meme. You know, it's funny. Cavalry of Change. You know, I was trying to be different. You know, trying to come up with a different gimmick, be different in the league. And the kid that we're talking about, Tee Up Next, originally asked me what does COC mean, and I told him, and he goes, "Oh, so you're." I don't know if I can say this. He said
You don't know what
G-A Y. He said, "Oh, so you're blank?" And I said, "Nah, bro, I don't get down like that."
you could have said that. That was fine.
Okay. So he was like, "Oh, so you're gay?" And I was like, "Nah, bro, I don't get down like that." And he just kept pushing it, and he was like, "Oh, you like cock? Oh, you like cock?" And I'm like, "Come on, bro, like chill."
Let me stop
That
you
was
there.
original-
Let me stop you there, Mr. Magnum. Now, when was this?
That was when I had first ever met this Tee Up Next guy. He had told me
This is
that
in
he
a
was.
party. This is in a party, or this is in a.
This is in a PSN party, and he had told me that he was a fan of COC and that he wanted to join. And I had said, I don't know, we kind of have a lot of storylines going on right now. I don't know, I could maybe try to fit you in. And that's where it kind of ended until, you know, he kind of like started antagonizing me, going, "Oh, you're gay, oh, cock this." And I was like, all right, whatever, I'm just gonna, I ended up actually getting off that night. I was like, it was late anyways, I was like, I'm just gonna get off. I got off. It was the next morning I started a lab session. It was me, Spida, I think JD was in there, a couple of guys. And he had just started about Luka this and Luka that. I'm personally a Celtics fan. So I told him Luka was trash. I told him Luka's not a good point guard. If he was a better point guard, he would have won a chip.
Let me stop you right there. Mr. Magnum. I would like to request that comment be stricken from the record. Luka obviously isn't trash, and my client, as
As a point guard, yeah.
as great of a wrestler as he is unfortunately a Celtics fan. So his mind, isn't all the way there sometimes. We really could plead insanity for that last comment if we wanted to, but obviously, you know.
So he started arguing with me, and I knew the conversation was getting nowhere. I asked him to, yo, please just chill. Other people were asking him, yo, everybody was saying, shut up, yo, chill, shut up, shut the fuck up. And nobody wanted it to happen. Multiple people in the party, we're all just trying to vibe. Me and this kid are bickering. I'm catching myself get out of character because I don't even like getting like that. First of all, like, I'm here to have fun. What am I doing arguing with this kid, first of all? That was the first time I caught myself getting out of, I mean, like, yes, what I said was completely wrong. I'm not going to try to sit here and defend myself on what I said was
Mr.
right.
Magnum, let's take things one step at a time. Now, this is your first encounter with the aforementioned Tee Up Next, correct?
This was the second encounter after that night. So the first night he was saying, so you're gay and you run the cock and da da da. So you must
And the
be
second
gay.
time is when you guys argued about basketball.
Exactly.
How did the basketball conversation end?
By me kicking him from the party because I was trying to defuse it because I realized he was trying to get a rise out of me and it wasn't going to go anywhere.
How did the next interaction begin?
We had interacted one other time in a lab session where he was just saying head of the cock, just stupid shit. And I ended up leaving and joining another session. And then the last session where the incident had happened. So there was 4 different times we had ran into each other.
So would you describe him as sort of following you around, sort of trying to incite these types of things?
Definitely going out of his way to join the parties I was in because I would purposely go on the PlayStation app and look at and see who was in what parties. So I didn't join a party that he was in to provoke him or, even to be around him. I was trying to purposely avoid him because I didn't want there to be any problems.
Your Honor, hold on one second, Dudley. Your Honor, later on in the trial, the prosecution is going to present evidence of, well, they might, maybe they will, maybe they won't, but the prosecution may present evidence of T Up Next reaching out to EK, the commissioner, asking for Dudley Magnum to get banned without any type of evidence to support it. You will be able to see that that basketball argument coincides directly with that request for Dudley Magnum to get banned. And as you can see from the conversation from Dudley and my other witnesses, there was no bannable offense in those interactions, sort of laying the groundwork for the fact that my client has been targeted in this situation.
Objection.
Continue.
Objection, Your Honor. Objection. That's just not the truth. That's not the truth at all, and he knows it, Your Honor. The truth of the matter is that is a bannable offense. If AJ Johnson perceived that he was being bullied by a veteran in the league, well, Your Honor, I think it wasn't even a week before that we told and made an announcement to everybody in our indie league, the PWU, and the PWO itself, that if any veterans were caught bullying newcomers, because we wanted this to become a safer space, and we've had a lot of newcomers reach out about bullying, that they should reach out to EK or us and let us know. So that
Objection to the objection, Your Honor. All the powers that be that ran the PWO watched and saw the message sent by T Up Next, and all roundly agreed that whatever it is that T Up Next was talking about could be dismissed out of hand, A, because there was no evidence, and B, because of what was being described was not really bullying.
Here's what I will say to what I'm hearing, and right now I'm hearing a lot of he said, this may or may not be in the evidence. And so the defense attorney, I will actually have to ask you, if you have any more questions for your witness, I believe it would be beneficial to the court and our trial itself if we begin to present some of the evidence from the prosecutioner. So if you have any questions, I would suggest now be the time you ask.
Dudley, I'm going to take you to the time, the incident in question, and just have you describe exactly how it started, your part in it, what you did afterwards, so that we can get on to the evidence. So tell me, Dudley, how did the incident that landed you here in court begin?
I was in a party, playing a couple matches with, local PWO wrestlers, and I get an invite, so I just join it because I'm trying to have fun. I'm working on new movesets, new attires, new things to provide for the PWO universe, right? So I joined the match just for fun. Don't even know who the wrestler is. Didn't even look at the gamer tag, nothing. Just running a normal one-on-one as I would, testing out my new moveset. And I lose the match. Didn't care I lost the match, I'm playing for fun. And next thing you know, I hear somebody cut their mic on, start chirping at me, talking shit. And I'm like, bro, I don't care about a match. Like, whatever. It's whatever, bro. Not that this makes it any better, but I'm personally going through a lot in my life. I got a lot going on. And this kid's just chirping at me. And I'm not going to excuse it at all, but the head of the cock, the you're gay, the this, the that, the word is not in my vocabulary. I do not typically just go around calling it to people. But when you're harassing me, calling me gay, saying head of the cock, this and that and that and this, I'm better than you. Yeah, he got me out of character. Yeah, he caught me at a bad moment where, me as Kyle, not as Dudley Magnum, me as Kyle, I'm going through shit in my personal life, and I did slip up, and 100% I will take accountability for saying what I said. Yes, I said it. Do I typically say that word? No, I don't. I don't say that word. I have friends who are of that community. I have family members who are of that community. I have, girlfriends who have been lesbian. So I typically, I don't care what you are. You know what I mean? I don't care.
This nigga came on here flexing.
We are all humans. Like I personally, I am a religious person. I go to church. We are all humans. We are all children of God. You know what I mean? So for me to sit here and bash anybody else and what they do in their personal time, I shouldn't have done that. But did I have a moment where I was out of character and where I said something I didn't mean to? Yeah, I 100% did have a moment where I slipped up, and I can admit that. But at the same time, that is not who I am as a person, and I hope you guys can forgive me and give me a second chance to prove to you that I'm not that person.
Final question, Dudley. What is the Cursillo movement?
That is a spiritual 3-day retreat that I recently just went on over the weekend. Honestly, It's just something that will educate you on, it's just like a Christianity education 3-day, event. You go with like 40 other guys, and you do Bible study, and you have a mass in the morning and at night, and you learn all about Jesus Christ.
And if you're comfortable, you can go into whatever detail you want, no detail, whatever detail you want. I'm not trying to put all of your shit out on Front Street, but I will ask, what is the reason you went on this retreat? Again, you don't have to go into super deep detail if you don't.
Because I had, as I got older, I grew up religious, and as I got older, I lost my faith in Jesus Christ, and I feel like I needed to become closer with him.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Prosecutor, do you have questions that you wish to ask the witness now, or would you prefer to showcase the evidence that you have during the examination process?
I will showcase my evidence during the examination process, Your Honor. I'll lead with a few questions and then go directly into my evidence.
Okay. You may begin whenever you are ready.
Thank you. Dudley, and I'm looking to talk to Kyle right now, not Dudley Magnum. Okay. How old are you?
I am 21 years of age.
You're 21 years of age, which means you're of legal age to not only drink, buy cigarettes and tobacco products, go to the war, buy handguns, all the things. You can do anything that an adult can do. You are an adult, correct?
Yes, I am, Ted.
As an adult, you have a job. Is that correct?
Yes, I do, Ted.
What would happen if you went into your workplace and you called somebody what you called AJ Johnson?
At a typical workplace, you would get fired, but at my workplace, nothing.
Oh. Objection! Objection, Your Honor. Oh my God. We don't know where this man works. He could work at a strip club or something. I don't know.
At a typical workplace, you should be fired, yes. And I agree with that in my personal morals.
I will say overruled.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Dudley Magnum, let's keep it pushing, okay? The next question that I have for you, man, is you said that you went to a camp to get closer to the Lord this past weekend. Is that correct?
I did.
What possessed you to call somebody a slur right before you did that?
Honestly, like I said, I don't want to get too in depth, but I had a lot going on in my personal life, and mentally I wasn't in a good spot, and that's part of the reason why I had gone on the retreat, was so I could get closer to Jesus, because I felt like I was in a spot in my life where I was cycling and going down a bad spiral. That's why I went on that retreat.
Okay. Now let me ask you this, Dudley Magnum. With the issues that you have going on, feeling the way that you felt, think about that. Go back and live in the moment whenever you called him the F slur. Replace AJ Johnson with me, okay? If I was going back and forth with you in that moment, and if I was arguing with you and I got you out of character, would you have called me the N-word?
No.
Then why do you feel it's okay to call somebody the F slur?
I don't think it's okay to call somebody that, but he had previously, he was teasing me. He was going, gay. He was saying, you're gay, head of cock, COC, you must be gay if you like to be called COC.
So Dudley, so if I'd said all those same things to you, would you have called me the N-word? A slur.
Why would I have called you the N-word for that? I might have called you the F-word for that.
But you see, Dudley, they're one and the same. Using a slur is using a slur. They are. Dudley.
They are, but not in that situation.
Let me stop you right there. By the way, this is the nigga that you're defending. This is your man's. Dudley, the N-word is to my community what the F-word is to the LGBTQ community, okay? The way that the N-word makes me feel is the way that it makes them feel. The same way that people use the N-word to oppress black people is the same way that people use that word to oppress members of the LGBTQ community.
So why was he trying to use those words to make me feel less than?
Dudley, you understand that two wrongs don't make a right, correct?
I do understand that, but I do understand that, Ted, and I'm not saying that I was in the right, but I definitely got out of character, and for you to say, the N-word thing, I wouldn't say that ever, because that's not in my vocabulary as a person, and he got me, out of character by bullying me, by saying, or not bullying me, by harassing me and saying, the you're gay stuff, if your name's cock, you must be gay, and so yeah, that's where the F word had came out, and I was like, I got sick of it, and I was like, so if you must be, I said it, and it's not right of me, but I don't think those are the same thing in a comparison.
But Dudley, let me tell you why they are. Do you not understand that bigotry is bigotry? If you're being a racist, that's a form of bigotry. If you're being hateful towards members of the LGBTQ community using hateful words and oppressive words towards them, that's a form of bigotry. That's one and the same thing. Whether you're being homophobic or whether you're being a racist, you're being a bigot. Do you understand that as a 21-year-old man?
I do understand that, and I'm sorry for that. I understand where I was wrong, and I want to do better and prove that's not who I am as a person.
Now let me stop you right there, Dudley, because the one thing that I will say is that I don't think that this is who you are as a person. And I think that's the most frustrating part about all of this. Even now, while we're sitting here in court having a conversation, it sounds like you understand that you're in the wrong, but it also sounds like you don't understand that the amount of hate that goes into using a word like the F word. It's not just saying a word. And it's not just like you're thinking that there's a difference in saying a slur like the N word and saying a slur like any other slur. They're all slurs.
I shouldn't even have argued that topic, and you're 100% completely right. I just didn't want that narrative to be pushed. That I don't know why I even argued that, but it was more of the fact that like I didn't really I didn't think those were comparable until you kind of explained it the way you did. But like I wouldn't ever say either of these words honestly, and the only reason I did was because he kept saying the "you're gay" thing, the "you're gay" thing. So I was trying to. For some reason, in my egotistical mind, I was trying to stoop to his level, which I shouldn't have done.
Well, Dudley, with that being said, let me roll into a little bit of evidence that I have, okay? Let me get into Exhibit 1. All right. Dudley, these are messages between you and, can you tell me who this is?
I can't see anything. I have to go look at the screen.
All right, go and look at the screen, but I'll read it out for you. The messages say, and these are from you, Dudley, it says, just so everyone knows, at URG X Rebecca Hot is a pussy and is scared of the COC, don't want to fight. You have one win, I started just like you two, and you ducking. You a fucking pussy for real, kid. All you do is run your mouth and don't back shit up. You're a big bitch. Yo,
Objection! Objection, Your Honor. Have you seen the PWO League chat? It is this up and down the chat from every single person that is in there. It's the culture that has been cultivated, Mary Jane called Bubba a pussy last night. Okay.
Your Honor.
Order. I'm going to say the objection is overruled.
Thank you.
Because just because that is what the chat may look like does not mean that it is okay.
Context is everything,
also,
Your Honor.
You may continue.
I'll move on to my next example, Your Honor. Dudley, hold on. Where's my picture at? God damn it, it didn't pull up. Hold on 1 second. Let me try this.
Also, Your Honor, there is a great possibility that this was a back and forth between these two in what the wrestlers call kayfabe, where the two were acting as wrestlers going back and forth. Now, we have had conversations about keeping kayfabe out chat. That's a whole separate conversation. But if this was a conversation between two
all these
wrestlers,
messages are a little dated. I was going to say they're all over a month ago after we had that conversation.
Dudley, are you a different 21-year-old than you were a month ago? I don't think you were. Now, Your Honor, regardless of what Dudley is saying, he's a witness. I don't know why he's speaking. This message says, I shit in between two cars at the back of a Walmart at 3 a.m. drunk. What you know about that life?
Objection! Objection, Your Honor. Who hasn't shit in between two cars at 3 a.m. outside of a Walmart park? Among us, Your Honor.
Man, I was homeless.
Hasn't done the exact. I, for one, did that 2 nights ago.
I was homeless.
And now he's picking on the homeless.
You said 3 a.m. drunk.
I was homeless. You never been a drunk homeless man?
Witness. Now, prosecutor, I'm going to advise that you move on to your next piece of evidence.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now, Your Honor, I'll say this. Okay, here's my.
I'm going to shit in between two cars tonight.
Your Honor, my next piece of evidence to just show that the defendant has a history of bullying. He said, Your Honor, you sound goofy. You don't know my life, Buster. And if you want something hard to grasp, I can give you that.
Objection! Your Honor.
Is this how you talk to? Is this how you should talk to people in a community of people that you don't know in real life, Your Honor?
Your Honor, this is how EK the Commissioner talks to people in the group.
Oh,
Hey. Shut your ass up.
I will sustain that as well, because I mean, in the courtroom itself, we've heard tonight some very vulgar things from specific people, and you know, once again, I just have to say, prosecutor, I mean, this evidence, I'm gonna need to see something hard and serious here. I need
Don't
something
worry.
set in stone.
No, don't you worry, Your Honor. I got you. How about this? Exhibit whatever number this is. Dudley Magnum himself says, yeah, I'm sorry. I gotta be better. I gotta be a role model in the locker room, not a problem. I will lock in. And as Dudley pointed out earlier, Your Honor, this message was a month ago. A month ago, he acknowledges that he has behavior that needs to be corrected. And here we are a month later in wrestler's court because he called somebody a slur.
I got nothing to that.
Okay. Okay.
I'll keep it pushing, Your Honor.
Yes.
And here we go, Your Honor. Next piece of evidence. 2 months ago, the defendant says, I'm not a dick to everyone. I'm actually a pretty chill guy, which I believe to be true, Your Honor. He says, if you have ever talked to me, you know that, whatever. He says, do I take trolling too far? Didn't even use the right version of two. But he said, do I take trolling too far? Yes. And that's on you if you get mad from a joke. The defendant admits that he takes trolling too far. First of all, you're a grown man trolling. Why are you spending your time doing that? Second, if you get mad from a joke that's your fault, Your Honor, he's not even taking accountability for his own behavior.
That's out of context. That was for like stream video.
It's all out of context, Your Honor. You let him tell it.
It was for videos, for like, you know, like promo package videos. Like if you got offended by a promo package video, you know, like it's all jokes and memes. So I can't really control if you were to get offended. You know, I'm just trying to bring a sense of comedy to the PWO, since you know, everybody has the same gimmick. You know, it's either, you know, I'm gonna talk crap as a new person and I want to fight the champion, or I'm gonna be spooky and mysterious.
Dudley, let me stop you right there. Are you or are you not acknowledging in this very message that you take trolling too far?
Yeah, for like in the league, like that was for, you know, as of my character.
Here's what
not as
I
of
will
Kyle.
intervene and say. I will intervene and state that the evidence that is currently being showcased does seem a bit contradictory, and I believe that it would be in everybody's best interest to not spend more time looking at this specific piece of evidence and continuing to move on with any other evidence that the prosecutor may or may not have.
Fine. Your Honor, now here's what I believe to be some of the most damning evidence of it all, of everything that I've showed, Your Honor. A month ago, Dudley Magnum says Diddy is his favorite rapper. Now,
Objection! Objection!
I sustain.
Objection!
What?
You must move on from this evidence. You must.
Your Honor, this is crooked. This is a crooked court.
Now, Your Honor, I have some evidence. If that's all right with you, I have evidence that's not completely irrelevant to this case. If you'd like to see it,
Mr. Prosecutor, do you have any more evidence that is relevant to the circumstances surrounding this particular case?
Your Honor, if what I've shown isn't enough to show that the defendant has a history of bad behavior, then I don't know what else I can show these people.
Your Honor,
would that be a no? No more evidence from you?
No, none from my side, Your Honor.
Okay. Defense attorney JC, you may showcase your evidence.
Now, I do not have the capabilities of my colleague here who's able to put the messages up on the screen, but I do have a photo of a message. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. I'm gonna read it out verbatim here. That was sent on a January 27th, 2025 to the commissioner of this league, EK, from the Tee Up Next character that is so central to this conversation. And he mentions that Dudley Magnum keeps kicking him from the party. He says, he keeps kicking me from the party. He's mad because I told you. He just called me a pussy bitch. And you know, this is a shame that new people can't even come into this league without being harassed and hated on. Glad this is the kind of image y'all like upholding. Now, afterwards, EK checked this man in a fashion that let him know that this league has standards, it has rules, it has things that they do or that we do to keep people comfortable, keep people kosher. But I would like to point out that January 27th is either the day of or the day after Dudley Magnum had this conversation with him about the basketball. This was after the aforementioned basketball conversation where the two had an argument. things got out of hand, and he kicked him out of the party to defuse the situation that T Up Next started. January 27th. Does that sound accurate to you, Mr. Magnum?
Yes, it does.
Absolutely. All right. So T Up Next sent dozens and dozens of messages to EK saying, you never responded to messages, so what's the point of telling someone something if nothing's changed? He was crashing out in EK's inbox. EK had to, sort of calm down the situation and tell him exactly what he would need for him to be able to do something about that situation. And here he said he's literally in the party saying he's going to let in the Discord can make blackface funny. I don't know what he's talking about in these in these messages, and EK keeps telling him, you need to prove it. You need to prove it. And he says, how can I do that when I get kicked out of the party? And he says nobody would back him up. Now, we've had a bunch of people come up to the stand, Your Honor, backing up Mr. Magnum here, speaking to his character, saying exactly what they feel and who they feel the type of person he is. If somebody was in the party saying things
objection, Your Honor, their character is questionable. What are we talking about?
Your Honor, if someone was in this party saying the things that this man claims that he was saying, if someone was in the party going overboard in the way that this man says that they were going overboard, EK would have heard about it before he even jumped into the inbox. People would have backed him up. In fact, EK was able to get this man to give him 2 witnesses to the incident at hand. And both of those witnesses on separate occasions have said that, yes, although Dudley Magnum said the word that he said, it was still instigated by the T Up Next character. All right? So I don't know what else I got to say. I don't know what else I got to do to show you that this man came in looking for trouble, and he ended up finding it, which is why we're here in this courtroom today.
Your Honor, if I can get a rebuttal in, and it'll be a very short one. I would like to...
You may, but I wish to ask one clarifying question to remind the court as well as myself. The supposed inciter of the entire incident, can I please get his name once again from defense attorney?
His name is T Up Next. In the Discord, his name was, because he has been kicked at this point, Tykees. Okay. It's Tykees.
When was he removed?
Shortly after the incident in question, after another piece of evidence that I'd like to present to you, which again I can't exactly show, but all my colleagues here can all attest to and speak to. He was kicked after it was found out that he was a troublemaker doing some sort of inciting, because when we kicked him out for doing what he was doing, he had his friends join the Discord and begin to harass the other wrestlers for getting him kicked. So he is a person well versed in the art of, I guess, online harassment.
Okay. Prosecutor?
I would simply, Your Honor, like to remind everybody here that, yes, that may be true. Tykees, whatever his name is, may be a troublemaker. He may have incited what began all of this and what has us in Wrestlers Court today. He may have even provoked Dudley Magnum. But 2 wrongs do not make a right. And just because someone says something mean to you does not mean that you get to call them a slur, especially when it's been established that it is against all the rules of the community and that you will be removed from the community if you do so.
Okay. Do you have anything else you wish to say about this current evidence piece, prosecutor?
Prosecutor.
I'll say this, and I will let it rest, Your Honor. Actually, I don't have anything to say. Okay. I think we can move on.
Defense attorney?
No, I think I made my point with my evidence. Yeah.
Okay. So at this time, are we concluding the evidence portion?
Unless we're doing closing statements.
Well, I just want to ensure that there's no more pieces of evidence that anybody wishes to provide the court today.
That'll be all from
I would like to ask Dudley Magnum one more question.
I will allow that.
Dudley, we've gone over the rules and we've gone over, how things are, supposed to be done in the PWO. I'm sure if you weren't involved in my sort of couple of hour-long discussion in the PSN party before this incident about, cleaning up the acts of the party and things, if you weren't involved in that, if you weren't in that, I'm sure you at least heard about it. So you were there and you know what direction that we're trying to go in. I'd just like to ask you, what does being in the PWO, what has it meant to you?
honestly, being in the PWO to me, it is a community, it is a family, it is a safe space where we can all talk about wrestling and be ourselves. You know, I've made so many friends in the PWO. I've made so many connections in the PWO. I feel like I've been a part of some pretty decent storylines in the PWO. I try to express my creativity in the PWO. Get on the mic and just have as much fun as I possibly can. And it's sad enough to me that I even have to be the person to be on court. You know, I don't think personally in my character, I never thought I would be here. You know, because I try to push positivity. I've corrected people for saying this exact word that I said. I've seen people in the party say it, and I'm like, hey, bro, we don't say that here in this community. This is a safe space. I've
Which
called
I would
people up.
like to co-sign. On the day that we were investigating, there were some people who will remain nameless who thought just because it was an example, they could get one off. Continue.
And I've even see like in that example, I'm like, yo, we don't say that around here, and they thought they could get one off, and I've even tried to correct people in that way because I don't rock like that. Like, this is my community. I look at this like my family. Whether you guys do kick me or not, I will continue to be in the streams. I even have purchased the merch. I care about the PWO whether you guys do kick me or not. I will continue to still be a fan. I care about the storylines and the people who are a part of it. I now don't look at them like friends. I look at them as family. If something's going on in my life, I talk to them about it, and they have all helped me and made me feel better about situations. And even going through this, I still have a bunch of friends who are supportive because they know my character and they know that I'm not that type of person. So at the end of the day, I want a second chance to prove who I am and to prove that I can be better for the league, and to prove that Dudley Magnum isn't that, and that Kyle isn't that person. At the end of the day, if you guys feel that in a business standpoint where I should be gone, I respect that choice because there's nothing like Ted said. There's nothing that can what can I say? I could say sorry all I want, but I shouldn't have said the word.
No further
Okay.
questions, Your Honor.
Okay, the witness may step down from the stand.
I have one question before he steps down, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
I will allow it.
Thank you. Dudley, you said a lot just now, and I'll be overly transparent with you. I think a lot of people in this league are full of shit, and they have a very bad habit of doing the exact same really shitty repeated behavior after we've told them stop a million times, and we're all adults here except for the few people that aren't, right? And we've never had to tell anything to the few people that aren't, which is ridiculous. My question to you is, if you were to return to the PWO, how can we know that you wouldn't continue to use language like this or repeat something in a moment of heat that would get you banned from the league anyway? And even outside of the league, are you going to continue using language like this in the way that you move forward in life? Are you going to go to work and say it with the people that say it there? Are you going to correct them? Are you going to realize that it's something that offends
At your
people?
workplace where that's okay.
Yeah. Are you going to move forward in your life and remove that from the way that you speak, or is this just something that you're going to remove from like while you're hanging out with us? I'm genuinely curious.
Over the weekend, I have become to change my morals a lot, and I've become to realize a lot of things. As I've learned so much about Jesus Christ, and I've become a lot more spiritual. I've been going to church twice a week. Even after the weekend, I've been twice this week already, and I went today earlier. Yeah, I completely think the way that I'm thinking about everything and just how I operate in my day-to-day life has changed over. I know that's just a lot for me to say and for you to believe, but like that little 3-day spiritual retreat really like restored my faith in Jesus, and I really honestly feel like a different person. um and yeah, like I don't think that is and I typically don't say that word, and when people do say it around me, it does irk me and cringe me. I typically don't call them out for saying it, but like if somebody does say it around me, I typically I don't like it, and I don't agree with it, and no, I don't agree with that type of behavior. So for me to act out in that manner doesn't really honestly make sense, and I need to do better. And I know I've said that, and I want a second chance to prove that I can be better.
I rest my case, Your Honor.
I will now have the witness step off of the stand and open for closing remarks from both the defense and prosecutor, starting with the defense.
Thank you, Your Honor. bitch, fucker, stupid, you know, gay, nigga, you know, head of the cock, getting kicked, joining back, getting kicked, joining back. These are the things that my client had to deal with over and over and over and over again until things became too much for him. My client is on trial for something that we all know he did. I'll just put it out there. He's on trial for something that everybody here knows he did. But what we don't know is exactly why someone would come into this community, target somebody like him at a time when he is so vulnerable, whether they knew it or not, and try to get them kicked from something that means this much to them. Ladies and gentlemen, my client does apologize for the things that he said. You heard him. He sounded genuine as shit just now when he was on the stand. We all heard it. And we all know how things get online, playing video games with people who don't know how to act. My client's been going through a dark time. Obviously, they've recognized it enough to the point where they've gone on a whole retreat to change their own lives. Come back a better person. I'm not one to be like cancel culture this, cancel culture that. But I am one who believes in second chances. Dudley Magnum, I believe, has proven today that he's a person who just might deserve one. And it'd be an honor and a privilege to allow him to have it. I rest my case.
Okay. Thank you, defense attorney JC. Prosecutor Ted, do you have a closing statement?
I do, Your Honor. As much as the defendant may not like it, as much as the defense team may not like it, as much as the people viewing this that have been here from start to finish and that listen to this entire case may not like it, Your Honor, and I'm sure you'll be able to appreciate this, actions do have consequences, okay? Now, what we saw tonight were a lot of facts come out. The facts of the matter were, and the defense team has already come out and said it, we're not arguing whether the defendant said a slur or not. We're arguing whether or not we should allow him back into the league, when the rules clearly state that if you say a slur, you will be removed from the league. And I would also like to remind everybody watching right now that the minute that he said it, he also followed it up by saying that he didn't care if he was removed from the league for saying the slur. Not only did he say it, Your Honor, and everybody listening to this right now, he doubled down on it. Now, Your Honor, we listened to a lot of things today. The one thing that I would like everybody to really resonate with and really take away from this conversation is the fact that the defendant was combative still until we had to talk him through why he was in the wrong. Right now, as we're in wrestler's court, the defendant was sitting here, Your Honor, trying to explain why using the F word wasn't as bad as using a different slur. Your Honor, I'm not sure.
That's not what he said. That's not what he said. That is not what he said.
Can I have my closing remarks, Your Honor? And it is what he said.
That's not what he said.
All right. You may have your closing remarks. However, I do not believe that it would be beneficial or productive to just continue on the path that you were continuing to go.
That he didn't say that.
So I will allow you to continue.
He was explaining why he said the word. That's all he was doing.
All I'm saying.
We are going to let the prosecutor continue.
Thank you. All I'm saying is, Your Honor, the defendant knew the rules. He went against the rules, doubled down on going against the rules, and sat here today. And although he apologized, I'm still just not convinced that he fully understands that consequences have actions. Or actions have consequences, Your Honor. I really don't. And if we allow him back into the league, not even a month after committing an offense like this, what type of league are we actually conducting ourselves with? Who are we? What's our identity? And why does he get special treatment when other people don't? I'll rest my case.
Clarifying question for the judge. What was the exact date of his offense?
I think it was Friday, last Friday. Was it Friday or Thursday or Friday? It was last week, right?
Yeah.
I think it was Friday because it happened the day. It happened, yeah. Because
it wasn't Friday. I left for the retreat on Thursday.
Oh, it was Thursday. Yeah.
So it must have been Wednesday or Thursday.
Wednesday or Thursday. It was last week.
Okay. Will that be all from everyone? Everyone's closing statements are finished?
It's all for
Can I
me, Your
just,
Honor.
can I just, real quick?
I will give you a minute.
That's all I'll need. The only reason we are aware of the rules and we understand that is a zero tolerance policy. The only reason
Clearly
that
not.
the only reason this case even made it to wrestlers court was the fact that my client was provoked and harassed and pushed into something that he shouldn't have done, but did not want to do. Ultimately, did not want to do. Now, of course, we're not trying to use any of these as excuses for his actions, but I do believe that that adds a wrinkle, like an element of, you know, I guess, need for grace in a situation like this. All right. If it wasn't for a troublemaker who came into this league and turned it into what it was, we wouldn't even be here. It's the reason why he's here in wrestlers court, and that guy who started all of this is not.
If it wasn't him, it would have been anybody else, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So, I think that in speaking about wrestlers court today in its entirety, we've heard lots of different things from our witnesses, our defense attorney, our defendant himself, the prosecutor. We've seen lots of pieces of evidence, both relevant and not. And we've even had a surprising character reveal of one of our witnesses, which
Oh my God.
was quite the shocker from where I'm sitting up here currently. And I think a lot has been said. There are a lot of feelings involved within this trial. But what has been clear to me is that second chances are sometimes a good thing. And sometimes they are just allowing more of the same to continue. Now, it is my understanding that in the PWO, there have been many, many, many second chances given, lots of warnings given, lots of rule breaking to the point where rules have needed to been changed over and over again. Because, for lack of better words, shit is crazy. Now, in the case of PWO versus Dudley Magnum, it is my opinion that Dudley Magnum deserves a second chance and should be reinstated into the PWO. However, I believe that certain protocols and things must be put in place in order for things like this not to happen again. First being, in regards to the PlayStation parties. Now, it is my knowledge that PlayStation parties have the ability to record audio from everybody involved. And so, it would be a judge's high advice that if you are going to be involved in a PlayStation party, you have the ability to capture your own audio as well as the audio of others in the party, because he said, she said will not fly, especially with the friends and family that Dudley was speaking about on the witness stand here today, because people will lie. Whether or not they come up here and say, hey, I will tell the truth. So my recommendation is that with number 2, in Dudley's case, it is my understanding that he was in a high standing position of one of the PWO, we'll call them clubs. Is that correct?
Factions, Your Honor.
Factions, okay. I believe that upon his return, which we will say, I will say he can be returned into the PWO in the next show, I think he must take his place from the perspective of someone new joining once again. I think it is my understanding 3 matches must be done in order to gain access back into the PWO.
That is correct, sir.
It is my suggestion that he start from the beginning. I believe he needs to earn his way back versus be placed back into his faction and everything being reinstated fully. I think there are some consequences here, and as well as no high praise, no high shows for a while. I think people need to keep their eyes on him, and I think from a judge's perspective, there might be some weekly check-ins with different PWO witnesses to see how he is doing within the community himself, because he claims to have changed, and we will be watching him very closely. And if we hear anything backed up by solid evidence, I don't even know if another court case is needed. I think if the right evidence is displayed, we can get him up out of here again. But it is my opinion that reinstatement is what we will be moving forward with at this time.
Now, Your Honor, really quick, okay? Now, I know you're not the type of judge to negotiate with, So I'm not going to try and negotiate with you here, okay? I'm not arguing that he shouldn't be reinstated, even though I spent the last 2 hours doing that. What I will say, though, is that he's going to have a very easy path to getting those 3 matches out of the way and getting moved right back up into the PWO. What my suggestion would be, because he already knows all of the veterans here, I think that who's talking? I better not be this nigga.
Prosecutor, I will allow you to continue speaking. No one else may interrupt.
I would say that we need to call up a minimum of 3 rookies from the PWU before reinstating Dudley Magnum and letting him be called up.
I think me and my client, I'm sure, would accept those terms. I mean, he is literally the leader of the Cavalry of Change, and he's made a point in his career to advance the careers of other rookies in the league. I think that would be completely acceptable to him.
I was also going to suggest a punishment for myself. If you guys want, I can run an extra PWU show a week, once a week, to help all the rookies and, help them learn how to get on the mic and, how we run shows.
Dudley, I don't think you need any extra responsibilities in the PWO right now. Let's just see how you coming back works out for now.
I believe that the terms submitted by the prosecution are more than fair. So yes, I think as of right now, none of the current pros may be allowed to give you that. I think a rookie needs to stand up and do the job. But as I said, no to Defense Attorney JC, if he is reinstated, he is not the leader of anything. He will not take up leadership position in anything.
Now, is this going to be a termed thing, or how long? Because he I mean, he started the faction, so we just want to know, how long before he can really start moving and shaking.
He can be a part of the faction, but I believe it would be in the best interest for the entire faction to have someone else take the lead for.
This is going to be a good storyline
for a good amount of time.
Stop talking, nigga. Stop talking.
I think let's see how his coming back matches go, and we'll see what goes from there. I can work out the details, and we can get everything signed up after our court case.
All right. Well, Dudley, seems like you beat your case this time, you bastard. I better not see you in Wrestler's Court again.
Thank you.
Yeah, bitch. Woo!